Coming up from Heli-Expo in Anaheim, the president who's mad as heck and isn't going to take it anymore. They're going to make a jet ranger again, and Bob Hoover gets the red carpet treatment. AOPA Live this week begins in just a moment.
What gives them the right to do this stuff? I mean, this is supposed to be the land of the free, home of the brave and all that. And now we're becoming a police state because nobody's fighting it. And I personally take this one on.
You think Mark Baker is ticked? Hello everyone, welcome to AOPA Live this week. I'm Tom Haynes, and this week we're coming to you from the Helicopter Association International's Heli-Expo here in Anaheim, California. And we'll have much more on that in a moment. But first, let's go back to what's got AOPA President Mark Baker steaming. And that's the continued assault on GA pilots by Customs and Border Patrol agents. Not only do they continue to stop and search GA aircraft without a warrant or even probable cause, the agency continues to stonewall Congress about what they're doing.
Remember this old rule in America which used to be called innocent until proven guilty? The reason that you have a judicial branch out there is to say if you really need a warrant, go get a warrant before you go pursue this. Well, some of this has just been thrown out the window with what's going on right now. They're spying basically on 98% innocent people, 99. I don't really get why we're being called searched and pulled over to the side of the road without cause. It's just unacceptable to me.
That was Mark Baker speaking last weekend at the Northwest Aviation Conference outside Seattle. And he told the audience there that AOPA is not going to stand by and allow the federal agency to trample on the rights of pilots who are abiding the law.
Why are we putting up with this? If we don't say something, guess what? It will happen.
This year, AOPA had an expanded presence at the conference. It's all about a greater effort by AOPA to get out and meet our members where they fly.
Part of what Mark Baker has tried to do to get out around the country to where our members are and to be able to engage with them more closely in their communities. Something we started with our regional manager concept when we tried to place our full-time AOPA employees around the country able to engage with members directly. Now we're bringing AOPA to them even more directly by creating these regional fly-ins. So it's really a big push that we're launching here at AOPA, and I think it's going to be very exciting for our members as well as for the staff.
And speaking about a lot of pilots, about 20,000 pilots and others interested in helicopters are here at Heli-Expo. Some 60 aircraft hit the landing zone outside the convention center before being moved inside to join more than 700 exhibits. There's a lot of showbiz out there. Augusta Westland brought in cheerleaders and dancers. Not quite sure what that has to do with helicopters. Bell Textron with a multimedia extravaganza at their place to announce their latest. From all the signs, the helicopter industry is in pretty good shape.
Last 3 to 5 years, the industry has recovered nicely, and I think we're very strong. We have all our aircraft in the fleet of our membership is out and flying. They're busy. And one of the concerns, obviously, on the flip side of that is the shortage of pilots and mechanics that's we're witnessing now.
And that tracks with what Honeywell says about the future. The company has been forecasting the aviation industry for quite some time, and it predicts the market will demand about 5,000 helicopters over the next 5 years. The majority of orders will come from Latin America, and the biggest sellers will be the light singles. And that's a market that has suddenly exploded to life. The small helicopter market is dominated, of course, by Robinson, with more than 500 choppers cranked out the factory last year. Robinson is the #1 producer of aircraft in North America, and success of the turbine-powered R66 seems to have prompted others to jump back into that end of the market.
We've been quite surprised over the last 5 or 7 years that there has been no R&D in this segment. Everybody seems to be going upstream, and to us this is a great market, and if you can get some R&D and other helicopters to start serving this market, I think it'll help the industry as a whole.
As we mentioned earlier, the biggest splash at this show was from Bell Textron as it unveiled the successor to the venerable Bell 206 Jet Ranger, the 505 Jet Ranger X. Bell says the turbomeca-powered 505 will be price competitive with that R66. First flights of the Bell 505 Jet Ranger are scheduled for later this year, with certification anticipated in 2015.
What you'll see in the short light single market that differentiates us from other customers is really that integrated glass, that dual channel FADEC, really having a nice roomy open cabin with a flat floor, clamshell doors. And so we took what was strong and known around the rotor system and expanded it to enhanced it by building a brand new clean sheet design all around the rotor system.
Another entry into the light helicopter market announced here in Anaheim is the Enstrom TH-180. This piston-powered two-seater is designed exclusively for training with a roomy cabin and energy-absorbing landing gear. Students will appreciate that.
Thank you, and this is a dream of mine to develop a training helicopter that meets the needs around the world. I'm very excited. This is my first unveiling since I've been in a helicopter with Enstrom Helicopter. And this is, as Orlando had mentioned, is going to bring many of the characteristics to the market that is really needed. Cost, safety, most importantly safety, operation cost, and procurement cost.
The company predicts an hourly operating cost of about $175. Like the new Jet Ranger, the Enstrom is expected to be certified next year. Sikorsky said its S-97 Raider demonstrator should be flying this year. This would be the first application of the coaxial rotor technology, which set the helicopter speed records 2 years ago on the X-2 technology demonstrator. Sikorsky hopes to sell the Raider to the U.S. Army as a high-speed armed scout aircraft. Meanwhile, Sikorsky hopes to learn within months whether it is the winner of the contract to produce new helicopters for the presidential fleet, a 21-ship order of custom S-92Ss for VIP transport. After years of controversy, Sikorsky remains the only bidder on that project. Well, when we come back, a surprise for HAI boss Zaccaro and a well-deserved tribute to flying legend Bob Hoover. It will be live this week from Anaheim. Continues in just a moment. Welcome back. You're watching AOPA Live this week, coming to you from Heli-Expo in Anaheim, California. Popping over to the fixed-wing side for just a moment, the FAA has just awarded Hartzell a supplemental type certificate for its swept airfoil 5-blade prop. Prop is for TBM 700 and 850 aircraft. The carbon composite prop is lighter and improves the performance of the turboprop TBM aircraft. They claim better acceleration, about 5 knots more cruise speed. And there was a new name here at Heli-Expo, Airbus Helicopters. This is Eurocopter rebranded. The big white helicopter here over my shoulder at the Airbus Helicopter booth is the AS332C1E, the latest variant of the famed Super Puma. Our thanks to Airbus Helicopters for the use of the top of their booth. If you're not familiar with Airbus Helicopters, well, formerly Eurocopter, this is the first show where the parent company Airbus has showcased that new brand. The Super Puma down there is destined for Starlight Aviation Group. It'll be used for utility and medevac missions in Europe. The company already operates 10 SA-330 Pumas. AOPA President Mark Baker surprised HAI President Matt Zaccaro with a special presentation during the CEO Roundtable presentation this week.
Matt, I understand that you did fly some helicopters for the U.S. government a while back.
I've been known to do that in my past life, yes.
And served at distinction in Vietnam, is that right?
Yes.
Well, we're not sure what the distinction was, by the way.
Neither was I.
But this is a cover of our current magazine, and you might recognize the helicopter.
Yes, I do.
We want to present this with you today because we're mindful of that we're part of the aircraft system as well. Thank you.
That's really nice. I appreciate that.
Zaccaro started flying Hueys as a 19-year-old in the U.S. Army. He has a special place in his heart for this solid old bird.
Well, there's so many memories, but I think the thing that I take away from all of that flying in the aircraft and in combat in the military, there were occasions, whether we liked it or not, that the aircraft got damaged, and it always brought us home. It's an aircraft that no matter what you do to it, it's going to get you home, which we really appreciated.
And finally, there was a red carpet tribute a few miles from here to a true living aviation legend. AOPA Live executive producer Warren Morningstar reports.
As far as I'm concerned, the only mission that Bob Hoover had was to do the absolute best that he could at everything he did. And he did this exceptionally well.
It was the red carpet treatment for R.A. Bob Hoover, honoring the remarkable gentleman and his extraordinary aviation career. A life-size replica of Hoover's P-51 Old Yeller formed the centerpiece. Notables from all walks of aviation joined in the honors, from astronauts to designers to airshow pilots. All looked up to the man that General Jimmy Doolittle called the best stick-and-rudder man he had ever seen. And the event also premiered a documentary on Bob Hoover. And if you're going to premiere a picture, There's no better spot than a screening studio here at Paramount Pictures, home of such Harrison Ford classics as Indiana Jones. Narrated by Harrison Ford, the movie recreates a few of the extraordinary events in Hoover's life.
Bob's story is a powerful story. And as Tom said, it takes, the story can take many forms.
Hoover tests a fly-by-wire system, which automates some of the aircraft controls in the F-86. This flight nearly cost him his life.
I released my brakes and take off, and just another routine flight from my viewpoint. As soon as I got off the ground, I hit the landing gear panel, which is on the forward left-hand instrument panel, and it was shorted out. When the landing gear came in the up position, and that's where my terror took place, was immediately after takeoff. And I was out of control for well over 35 minutes. And I was headed in the opposite direction from my takeoff, and it appeared that I was going to crash right into the numbers at the end of the runway. I really didn't think I was going to survive.
He did survive, of course. Hoover refused to punch out of that F-86 because if it crashed, the engineers wouldn't learn anything from the flight. After the movie, Marines escorted the 92-year-old legend onto the stage, and as always, he stole the show.
It sounds like funeral music.
Even the irrepressible Southwest Airlines founder, Herb Kelleher, couldn't interrupt his storytelling.
So my legs just swayed around, and I thought, oh boy, I gotta land in this parachute on two broken legs. And the pain was excruciating.
The evening concluded with the presentation of the first inductees into the Hoover Hall of Honor.
Thank you, Bob Hoover, for the opportunity and for your selection for us to be the first of those in the R.A. Bob Hoover Hall of Honor.
At the Paramount Studios, Warren Morningstar, AOPA Live.
Thanks, Warren. When we find out when that movie is available for you to see, we'll tell you all about it, where to find it. And that does it for this week. We're headed back to Frederick, reluctantly leaving the palm trees behind. It's snowing back home. We hope to see you back here next Thursday for AOPA Live this week. Be safe. Have a great weekend.